Cheers and enjoy the beers. Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome once again back to the channel with me, Disco, coming at you with another set of live beer reviews from here in front of the cans and bottles here on the bar. Oh, I am still not sure about calling the Disco. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, need that. Need that for later. Right, yes, anyway, good evening, good afternoon. Unfortunately, due to an accidental week-long break from live streaming for no apparent reason I can actually give. Yes, we're back on it. I've got some beers to do. As always, far too many beers in the stash, so I've cobbled together a bunch of beers, a couple that are only recently in the stash, but all from Wales. So if you've got any Welsh beers to drink along, you are most welcome to join it. Come and say hello. Let me know what you're drinking. And I will crack on. First of all, I'll put this down here now. Gonna have to try it, aren't I? What's this? Bit of Welsh rabbit. What's Welsh rabbit, I hear you ask? Well, it's like fancy cheese on toast, basically. I'm not sure I've made it right, but it's basically a cheese sauce with some mustard. I declined to put the Worcester sauce in, put a bit of soy sauce instead. And it's also relevant because it's made with beer. Now, I actually couldn't find any actual Welsh beer. I got a couple of pollies in, but they weren't really appropriate. Need a kind of darker beer, so I went very nearly Welsh beer with this one. But Butty Back had one in the stash. A solid, almost amber ale goes really well with the mustard and the cheese. It's a bit floppy. And I don't normally eat on camera. And I've no idea why I am now. I just saw the title, or rather the title down there. Welsh Rabbits. Because the beers I've got, I don't know if they're rare particularly. I haven't really seen many other people talking about them. I'm not going to photo that. Just going to put that in there. For later, that was one of my best introductions ever as far as I'm concerned. If you're watching this back afterwards, do let me know. If you've had or know what Welsh Rarebit actually is, no idea how rare it is. It's Coleman's mustard from Norwich anyway, so but it's really nice. Cheese in it, cheese and beer goes well. I don't think a grainy mustard might be better. Anyway, I wasn't sure if that would work or not, but we did it anyway. Let's move straight on. I'm not calling Butty Back beer number one. It's just there, isn't it? Might talk about it a bit more later. Anyway, beer number one in this little Welsh beer lineup is from a brewery I've sort of heard of and I've seen a little bit about, and obviously it's around on my Instagram, so I must have come across them somewhere before, but it's called Weird Dad, which personally I think is quite a weird name for a brewery. It's called White Wellie, and it's a 4.8% IPA, so let's get it in a glass and see what we get before we look into Weird Dad. Quite lively on the opening. So I only picked these up a few weeks ago, just before the new year, I think it was, because I found another disco beer, not from Weird Dad, but more about that later. I think I've messed that up on the pour. It's there or thereabouts. Quite light and pale as an IPA. It's more like a pale ale, but we've got the can balance, so do bear with me. As I can see, it's not quite all right. Sometimes if you just get not quite enough liquid in the bottom, it doesn't quite balance. It seems to want to go to the side. I had this the other day with the disco beers. There you go, that'll do. There you go, so bear with me, I'm going to do the third one. One more for luck. Got the angle right there. Now I can see that I've actually got the can balance, not leaning on a glass. Up as quick as possible. Yeah, come out fairly good, I think. Wasn't it? Come on. Can't reach over that way. There you go. Right. So yeah, we're Dad. They're from Newport, which apparently is a city. So just into Wales, home of the place of Rapper's Goldie looking chain. I say that because I've got a kind of very hazy golden colour, but a very light, almost lemon yellow. Looks much better on the front, but it's not massively hazy, big body haziness from the first sight. Let's have a little sniff, see what we can get on the aromas. Oh, that's all right. Not massively on the hoppiness. Feels quite lively, quite bubbly, but also quite fresh, quite lemony on the taste. So that sounds good to me. Cheers. Oh no, there's the hop note. There is definitely a little bit of lemon going on, almost limoncello kind of thing going on, but then it's kind of out the back end is a bit more grapefruit. Like I say, it's quite light. I'm not even. We had this discussion like at the brewery a lot about what's an IPA and what's a pale ale. A 4.8%, is it really strong enough to be called an IPA? It's a very modern IPA, certainly a very crafty IPA. Not bad though. Yeah, the lemon is nice, and there is a little bit of grapefruit on the back end that kind of doesn't sit well on my palate, but it is a good, fairly thirst quencher of an IPA. So I think it goes well with the rarebit, but then it's cheese and mustard. Goes well with any beer, doesn't it? Pretty much. Yeah, so I've been a bit light on content recently. Haven't been able to get a live stream out, various things, mostly personal. Sorry about that. But it's good to have a week off, go and do some other stuff. And so you've got plenty of beers on, so hopefully back on it from now. Do let us know if there's anything you're looking for me to do, or anything you want me to review. What I'm not doing, I'll tell you what, that for now, or as far as I know, I'm not doing. I have no plans to rush out on Friday for Putty Day. That's coming up with a Verdant release on Friday. I think all the beers are out now. into the various bottle shops, tap rooms, etc. One down the road from me has even got 2 disco beers, and I'm still not likely to rush out for that, just because everybody else is. Have no particular care for putty. I tried it once and wasn't all that fussed. Tried the triple version as well and still wasn't all that fussed. So yeah, on Friday I won't be rushing out. Plenty of other stuff to do anyway, as always. I may or may not do some cider on Friday, because I've got disco ciders to do. I wouldn't mind going and trying the other verdant disco beer that I've had, not had on pint, because I've had a pint of the Disco Italiano, soft leisure disco reception, something like that, which was quite a nice summer beer in the summer, quite a nice smashable, juicy beer. But I'm in no particular mind to rush out just for that. Haven't had it before, and I think there might even be a can left in the cupboard, or did I just go for that on a random stream somewhere? I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, that's enough about Cornwall, because we're kind of talking about Wales today, sort of. Yeah, so Weird Dad are in Newport, South Wales. Anybody else had any beers from them? It's kind of fairly small. Don't see that many cans around. I had to really search hard for them, although I only had one Weird Dad beer available on the Weird Dad website. They have a web shop, but they also sell other beers as well, which is a little strange but handy, because it meant I got the Misfit brew in, and I'll talk about in a minute. Yeah, quirky nano brewery located in central Newport, South Wales, established on the principles of enjoying the art of crafting beer and the pleasure of sharing results with old and new friends. Blah, blah, blah. They've got a tap room down there in Newport. I must have passed spot of it looking on the map. Open from Wednesdays to Sundays and bank holidays. There's the one I got, White Wellies. I thought they had a barrel store for a second, but that looks like craft beer travels. Yeah, there we are in Newport, just down the road from the station. I've driven down the road several times. There's a Wetherspoons around the corner. And there's the man himself. Yeah, so I found by random Googling, etc., I found this web shop. Don't just stock Welsh beers. In fact, they don't actually stock that many other Welsh beers, but they do stock a bunch of sort of seemingly random stuff from Burning Sky, which I saw in Waitrose this afternoon, actually. I was looking for a Welsh beer. In fact, I should have probably picked up more Welsh beers from these guys, but there wasn't that much on there, so I've got some of the random stuff instead, including Dog's Window coming up at the end. I haven't got much in the way of pictures, and I think my internet is slowing down, so I'll go through all of the shop, eh? I don't want to look at Facebook. Not much on their Instagram of note either, but they do have, say, a view of the tap room. Yeah, so not a huge amount more to say about this one, really. It's kind of very much more of a summer kind of IPA with that kind of lemon note but there was a little bit of dankness on the back end. I suspect there's some sea hops in it. Let's have a little look again. I haven't looked. What they say about it: a punchy IPA named after the brewer's white wellies. Each welly has varying dry hop versions. No, it doesn't say. Best before 9th of the 3rd, 26. So in date, but obviously it's been only in my stash a couple of weeks. Yeah, no other hop information, but I suspect there's a smattering of sea hops in it, possibly Citra. Feels like there might be something like some strata or something like that in there as well. As I say, goes well with the actual Welsh rarebit, but then any beer does. I like that lemon note. That's a nice, rounds it off pretty well, but there is a slight, ever so slight grapefruit and dankness out the back. But it's still pretty balanced. Doesn't feel that much like an IPA, more of a pale ale, because of that kind of. It's got a body to it, but there is a thinness to it and a kind of juicy fruit kind of note, a kind of juice rather than kind of thick-bodied, hazy kind of chunkiness. But still, nice lacing on the glass, so it looks like it's still in reasonably good condition. Lacing all the way down the glass. I haven't got any Welsh glassware, so it's all Yorkshire glassware again today. Has to be, really. But let us know if you know anything more about Weird Dad, if you've had Weird Dad, in the comments. If you're watching afterwards, in the comments below, that would be great. The thing is, I like breweries like this that maybe don't get out into the kind of beer sphere so much, that just sort of find almost randomly, 741 followers on Instagram, so maybe don't get out into that social media quite so much as some breweries. Certainly not, since I've mentioned Verdant. But that's great. They're doing their thing. Obviously, say the tap room in Newport. It's quite a local thing, but it's a great location, just underneath the railway line. And I like talking about breweries like that, although you don't always have that much to talk about. And as I found this afternoon editing a video, I still don't like the sound of my own voice. So it's sometimes difficult to talk about when there's not that much to say, really. But I still prefer talking about small breweries like this, and then somebody else sees it, or somebody else tries it, or you see somebody else has had a beer, the same beer, and you thought, you can have a conversation about it. I like seeing other people do breweries that, rare breweries that don't get out of their local sphere that much. I can't imagine you'll see this in London that much, but I like doing that. I like finding these little breweries that not unheard of by any means. I think that's unfair. I'm not suggesting that nobody's ever heard of them. I'm the first person to drink this beer kind of thing. But yeah, I leave all the famous breweries and the bigger breweries to everyone else. Generally, I mean, I do a few kind of well-known national stuff, even in the craft beer thing. But I like finding random breweries, especially if there's a beer with disco in the name, which is kind of how I found these ones. Like I say, the next beer coming up, Misfit. Probably should have done it first, really. But that's how I enjoy finding out about beers. Hey, Twisted Fairy, thanks for popping in. Can't stay as we were busy. Yeah, hit the like and all that. Yeah, not too bad. So you've been off it for a week or so. But good to get back on the live with a beer. Yeah, cheers for popping in. Hope you're doing all right. Everything's okay in You're well to see on the live over last weekend briefly. Again, fairly busy over this weekend. At work, we had a what's it called? An event on at the weekend. So it was a wassail festival about the apple trees. A lot of stuff saying about wassailing around at the moment. Those with apple orchards blessing the apple trees. It's an old folk kind of tradition thing. Where we are on the farm, there's a whole orchard. So we partook of that. That was good. Sold a bunch of cider. Not our own cider. Luke's cider, of course. Luke's cider. Yeah, so a really busy weekend this weekend. I'm using the term easy drinking because it's fairly light and smashable. It doesn't even feel like 4.8. It feels much lower than that. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Do you want a beer probably to be a bigger body and a much more chunkier mouthfeel, or do you want it to be light and smashable? Still feel like you've had a beer. It's got all the right components. I missed that bit. Oh no, I thought there's a bit in red. Yeah. All the right stuff on the can, brewery name, logo, bit of artwork, etc. Keep it simple. And the percentage, I would like to see some hop information, mate, but what can you do? Yeah, there we go. So that was beer number 1. Easy drinking, fairly smashable IPA from Newport in South Wales, from Weird Dad Brewery called White Wellies, 4.8% IPA. Nice one. Cheers. What? So I was looking on YouTube, seeing if it's all right. Man City lost 3-1 to Bodo Glimt. Is that why YouTube's really quiet? Everybody's in utter shock at that scoreline. Yeah, it is, man. Wow. It's a full-time score too. How did they manage that? And how are Spurs beating Borussia Dortmund? Anyway, there you go. Oops, that's the wrong button there. Anyway, right, so let us move swiftly on in the traditional numbers. 2. Beer number 2, please. And beer number 2 is amazingly artworked can, although not quite in the right lineup with the beer logo being on the wrong side, but it is Misfit Brewery. Let's change the I didn't even put that up banner up on the Egypt. It's because his name is Mr. Wilson to remind me to do banners and stuff. Right, there we go. That was beer number 1. Weird Dad Brewery. White Wellies, 4.8 IPA. And this one is Misfit Brew Co. Also from Wales, out of Caerphilly. It's called Bedwas. I bet it's not pronounced Bedwas. Bewa? Don't know, but it's Welsh, so it could be anything. Yeah, Misfit Brew Co. Astro Zombie, 4.8% IPA. So, same percentage, also an IPA. Let's see what Misfit do with those numbers. Pretty bashed up on the can, so I wasn't massively impressed with the delivery on these. Whether that's the fault of Weird Dad. Now, I got this one from Weird Dad as well, as I say, because I was looking for that particular Misfit beer. So I thought I'd get something else, but there wasn't a lot available. Funny enough, it's pretty much the same colour going into the glass. If not, even lighter. Slightly more head development. Nice bubbly heads, plenty of carbonation. Looks a bit more pineapple than lemon. Let's do the can balance anyway. might be difficult because there's a bit of a. Oh no, I thought there was a bit of a dent right on the thing. Let's get it right. Let's get it the right way around. There we go. I think we've done that. So yeah, it looks much more yellow on the screen. It's quite scary. That artwork, isn't it? So what? It looks much chunkier, much hazier. Looks a much bigger body on that one. Looks almost juicier. And that first one was pretty damn juicy, to be fair. Yeah, so let's see what we can get on the aromas. Again, very, very similar, but I suspect there's a little bit more New Zealand hop in that one. Might be some Motueka in there or something like that. So there's a bit more, slightly more tropical. Still a bit of zesty lemon, but yeah, a little bit more tropical hops on this one. I think it might be a bit more my thing. Anyway, this is Astro Zombie, 4.8% IPA from Misfit Brew Co. Let's have a look. Cheers. Oh yeah, much thicker in the mouthfeel. That one, much hazier. Weird. Feels a bit. Feels like there's a bit of banana in there. That's odd. No specific fruits. It's not as pineapple as I thought it was going to be. Does feel like there's a bit of Nelson in there. And again, I haven't looked. I promise you that whether you believe it or not is another matter. But I haven't looked. But that's what I think I'm getting. Feels like there's that kind of slight Nelson note to it. Nelson serum. It's a bit of gooseberry, perhaps. It's definitely got some fruit note to it, purely from the hops, of course, as always. Very nice, very nice. Quite smooth. Feels like a little bit of citrus on the back as well, like grapefruity kind of citrus. Gonna dive straight in and have a look because I'm really curious now. A full-bodied hazy IPA at a sessionable ABV. Aromas of citrus and tropical fruits. Again, promise you I hadn't read that. That's exactly what I said about it. Best before 1st of the 3rd, 2026. So I've picked these up fairly late. So I picked them up around Christmas at the same time. Sadly, no other hop information. Annoying. I don't know. It doesn't have to be. But look, there's a whole great big space there to print stuff. And I can't imagine it costs any more to print that kind of information on a can label. But you know, like also Misfit, small brewery, maybe time to be designing the whole thing on a label or whatever, but they've got the time to be doing a decent beer, so there's really nice sweetness on it too. The kind of edges of pineapple cubes where you first get that sweetness before you get into the pineapple. Yeah, there's hints of tropicality without being any specific fruit. But the body, the mouthfeel, that body, that smooth chunkiness of, a modern craft tropical IPA. Again, I'm still debating the IPA-ness of it. Or whether it is just a good session strength hazy tropical IPA, but it's nice, really good. Works for me because there's very little hints of grapefruit to it. As I always say, it doesn't make it a bad beer, but yeah, nice, really smooth, hazy tropical IPA without any specific fruit note or any fruits from the Pacific either. Again, it's there, and I did 2 slices of it, so I'm going to try the Welsh rarebit again. Despite the fact I don't eat on camera. Bounces off the mustard. That tropical note. It's a kind of gives a kind of tropical hot sauce note without actually being hot. There's a bit of pepper in there, but that'll be it. Yeah, fruit and cheese goes even better together, to be fair. No dankness to it, no pininess. Let's have a look. Misfit, Rasko. I don't even know how I found these guys. I think it was just a random post on Instagram. These guys don't have a website, so I can't tell you any more about them, particularly apart from what I briefly saw earlier. Not there, just outside of Caerphilly, a town called Bedwas. See, they've got Czech lager out called Keef. Hey Paul, how you doing? Happy New Year, if I haven't already said that before. I don't know how long before you stop saying Happy New Year, because it is already the New Year. But yeah, I hope you're having a good one. Cheers to you. I'm having a look around at these fairly rare Welsh breweries. Certainly rare in London anyway. Astro zombie Welshman. Well, yeah, kind of looks. He doesn't look particularly Welsh, but in fact, he looks fairly angry. Yeah, you won't see these beers too much about on the socials. I mean, there's some fairly big Welsh breweries. I did see. I did see this reviewed on Instagram just yesterday, actually. Oh, no, where was I? It's not going well today. I keep getting everything goes slow. Yeah, so they haven't got a website at the moment. So I'm guessing they're just putting their beers out locally. Although I did see it in North Wales, so now definitely kind of south to mid Wales. There's the Czech lager. There's the one that I actually was looking for, the Supersonic Devil Disco. Got a couple of cans on that, so that might have to wait for a while. Soylent Cola, Hybrid Moment Soup, and Nectarnomicon. So they've got a high level of kind of characterization on their branding. One with dark element there. So you get this on keg, which should be interesting. I mean, that'd be a great pint down the tap room for sure. Yeah, because it's got that kind of hazy juiciness without any specific fruit, particularly for me. So I've picked some fairly sessionable beers tonight because I've got a bit of work in well. Brings out a little bit of heat on the mustard. Really nice. Astro zombie. Not to be confused, I did have a quick Google earlier and there was a Misfit Brewing in America somewhere. Completely different outfit. There's a little bit of roughness around the edges. Like, kind of, I could say pineapple cube roughness. Yep, liquid. What happened there? I actually moved the phone closer to the laptop. I should keep eating it because it's really nice. I'm going to warm it up again later, I think. Put it back under the grill. Warm it up after the stream. It's always good to have a bit of food with beer. I don't really like eating with beer. It's a meal, but this is more snack based, I think. I think that says all you need to know, really. Like that nice, juicy, refreshing, smashable drink. Because I keep going back to it to find more. There's some nice fruit note, some nice balance to it, though. Nice sweetness. I'm kind of looking forward to that Supersonic Devil Disco now. Because that mirror ball on that looks a bit more pineapple. So if it's like this, nice, solid, chunky, very hazy. I tell you what, it reminds me of. Actually, does remind me of our very own, very pale up at Paravel, except a bit more towards some different fruits. This one's got a bit more grapefruit on it, which is odd for me to say, but a very, very drinkable, smashable pint nonetheless, and very pale. It's got very similar. That's why I say the Nelson Sauvin type kind of notes for that kind of tropical New Zealand kind of hop note. A bit of gooseberry, a bit of grape going on. That's probably why I'm enjoying it. The more I think about it, funny enough, it's probably a little bit rougher than very pale. It's got that solid, hazy, slightly oaty body, but there's a little bit of rough edge to this one, which isn't bad. I don't say it's a bad thing, but still very drinkable. Lacing's dissipated a little bit now, but there's still some good lacing knocking around. So solid beer, really good. Some good craft stuff coming out of Wales. I'll knock that back and get on to the last one because I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy these because that term IPA always worries me. It's like, how earthy is it going to be? How much grapefruit watching Tweedy Pubs again the other day, and he's always banging on about grapefruit. It actually made me feel better. I don't know if anyone's watched Tweedy Pubs, but he's very anti that kind of modern craft grapefruit sea hop kind of stuff. But he also goes on about like British IPAs, which I always used to find fairly earthy and grapefruit back in the day as well. But then, I'm also drinking Butty Back. Let's have a look at that actually. So it's a beer I've had. So they call it a premium ale, which is always very worrying. Like I say, it's Herefordshire, which is Welsh borders. That's why I've kind of picked it because I didn't have any other Welsh beer. But it does also say Butty Back is a Welsh term for little friend. I always thought it was about a boat because a butty is a boat on a canal. And this Moorish bottle conditioned brew certainly has made a few friends in its time. Sure, it's been around a while. I've been drinking it at least 15, 20 years ago. Crafting for fine ingredients called extra pale maris, otter malted barley, but it is burnished gold in colour, boasts a smooth, satisfying taste. Fuggles hops, Goldings hops, Bramling Cross, the absolute trifecta of a British ale. Yeah, it was especially Maris Otter, Crystal, and Flaked Wheat. Also, it's been sitting here a while. 25th of February, 26. Still in date, mind. But yeah, one of those old school beers that I could just kind of reach in and pick up. I think I picked this up from Asda, but I did see it in weight shows earlier as well. And that's what you get. Works well with a bit of Welsh Rabbit. Anyway, so I'm calling this beer number 2 because I'm not counting Butty Back as beer number 1 because I'm not reviewing it as such. I just used it for the Welsh Rabbit. Cheers. If you are watching this after the event, do let me know. Click like and subscribe and all that. And let me know where you're watching from, what you're watching, and what beer you've got on whilst you watch it. Or indeed, if you've heard of any of these beers, any of these Welsh breweries. Get both that mustard and those tropical hops off the palate if I can. Because we're moving up the scale, up the ABVs for beer number 3 to finish off today. There we go. A beer number 3, please. Oh, I got the wrong one. That's the Rasko and Disco one. Never mind. Right, anyway, so yeah, we are going beer number 3 with Dog's Window. Probably the better well-known, maybe, certainly. I see a lot more people talking about Dog's Window, certainly out of Wales. And it is a beer called Old Dog New Tricks. A lot of their beers are centered around the various dog-related things or dog-related names. It's why Old Dog New Tricks. And it's 6% oatmeal stout. Let's get into a glass and see what we get. Yeah, see a lot more people talking about Dog's Window. And I say a lot more people, I'm thinking 2 or 3. Certainly, I saw a video from a friend of the channel, Hopper Beer Reviews, right there, if you're watching in afterwards, of the beer that I said I definitely wouldn't pick up because it was a West Coast IPA. I believe it was one with Simon for Real Ale Craft Beer. But yeah, it's not one I'm likely to pick up, but they do have quite a lot of, seemingly quite a lot of decent sounding stouts. I saw a Black Forest one when I was looking around earlier. Let's just do the over poured slightly again. But we've made the can balance. We've made it work. Definitely going to have to dip the laptop screen for this one, being a stout. After reflections. White balances nicely, looks good. Again, kind of some fun cartoonish kind of artwork on all of their cans, to be fair. All look pretty good like that. Looks good in the glass, I would say. So the nose is playing ball today. I have to blow my nose too much. There you go. There's one for the blue for real. Yeah, nice. Oh, excuse me. I say about carbonation in that one. The Astro zombie. Yeah, lovely looking stout in the glass. Nice, decent bit of head development there going on. And if it sticks around for the photograph, it's usually going to stick around. It's not going to dissipate. Got a bit large with the head development on that one, but that was just the oval pour. But there we go. Yeah, so Dog's Window, also South Wales. Where did I see they were? Of course, yes, Bridgend. I remember Simon and Hopper talking about it there now. Should know Bridgend. Got family up that way. So I'm allowed to do all these kind of twee Welsh references, like Welsh rarebit. There has been many a slice of Welsh rarebit made in this house over the last century or so. Well, half a century, I guess. But yeah, a 6% oatmeal stout, much more in my wheelhouse. And like I say, look at that head retention, sticking around nice and bubbly, creamy, foamy. Yeah, nothing major on the aroma, but certainly some darker, roasty, slightly aromas going on. But yeah, cheers. And I can't remember the Welsh now. I should have said Shemai at the top of the show, and I completely forgot. I've completely forgotten all the small amount of Welsh that I know. The main thing I know is that really long place name. Won't do that now unless anybody asks. Cheers. Oh, that's nice. That is nice. Okay. Ooh. That was a lot of things to consider in there. It started off really smooth. Then there was a little bit of roughness around the edge. Then there was a little spirity barrel age kindness going on. Try that again. Yeah, a little bit of chocolate in there. A little bit of kind of roasty. Not quite coffee, but there is a kind of burnt edge to it. I want to say burnt toast, but I haven't burnt the toast. Yeah, nice. There's some smooth chocolate going on in there. There's some imperial there's some imperial stout notes going on there. It was a slight boozy edge to it. It's not the smoothest. It's not an out and out luxurious, smooth imperial stout. It's not an imperial stout. It's an oatmeal stout. But that that oatmeal, that oat kind of smoothness is present and very noticeable, but there is that kind of slight, I would describe it as like a brown sugar roughness around the edge, like licking brown sugar. That's not a bad thing, by the way. It's just what I describe it as. But yeah, absolutely solid stout. Got kind of all the right notes. And I love that smooth kind of body and that excellent head retention going on. Wow, again. Can't remember when I picked this up. I might have picked this one up a few months ago. But go number 2022. Another bit of number alliteration. Best before 21st of February 2026. So all about the same time, all of these beers. And a very similar percentage. Brewed and canned at Dog's Window Brewery. 8 Nad at our Bridge End. That's the name of the road. What's inside? This is good. I like this. See, it can be done. What's inside? Malts of pale, crystal, oats, chocolate, and black. Fairly standard, but pretty well done. Don't need much in the way of hops. EKG and Fuggle, funnily enough, and an English ale yeast. That must great. Does that not great for Welshmen using English ale yeast? I don't know. I'm as English as I am Welsh, sort of. So I don't have that English Welsh kind of thing, but I just assume there is that rivalry and difference there. Oatmeal Stout is a bit of an old dog. In other words, a classic. Add a bit of Dog's Window magic and hey presto, a sumptuous award-winning stout. Because we don't compromise the flavours of our beers, they are... Oh, spelling error. They are not fined or filtered, which may result in a naturally hazy finish. Never noticed it on this one particularly. Yeah, 6%. Yeah, no, a superb, solid oatmeal stout. Say I've had better, but generally very decent. And I've seen a lot of stuff from Dog's Window. I can't remember if this is the first one I've had. I'm sure I've had one more from Dog's Window, but I can't off the top of my head remember what it is. Mr. Wilson, good evening to you. Happy Home Tuesday. I'm at the back end of a little Tuesday tipple now with some Welsh beers that I'm assuming not many other people have heard of because apart from this one, probably Dog's Window, I think it has been around on the YouTubes and the socials a fair bit. So you've probably seen this one, and this one's, yeah, a decent oatmeal stout, a little bit rough around the edges. All new. Oh, fair play. This is what I was saying earlier. Like, I love doing these random little breweries that not many people may have heard of because these things amuse me. Every week I look on the Instagram and see another new brewery to me. This is and it's not the fact that I follow them all. I just, it'll be like a random bottle shop or even a random person that I follow in that area. So that's just how I enjoy beer, really, just finding out new breweries. I've been aware of Dog's Window for some time. And I think Simon at Real Ale Craft Beer did a video with Dog's Window good 2 or 3 years back now. And he basically brews in a garage out the back of his house. And it's really tiny. He's sort of had kind of all these, bear with me a second. Yeah, so he's got all these like random adaptations to like from filling the grain to emptying the vessels and stuff like that, and what is essentially just a garage. That's a good point. Yeah, probably slightly up the scale a little bit. I mean, that's kind of more. They're all fairly stylized. Obviously, Weird Dad is a guy, again, sole trade on his own, pretty much, doing the brewing, or they've got a tap room. don't know too much about Misfit, but they're sort of similarly cartoonized. Dog's Window, I think this beer's had 2 or 3 different artwork style. But yeah, they are probably not necessarily bigger in terms of size, but bigger in terms of probably slightly more well known. So there are, well, I think they're certainly one of the older of the 3 breweries, so they've sort of more developed in that. I think the other 2 are fairly new, to be fair. Like I say, for even the fact they've got, I think, if I remember rightly, it's basically one of each vessel. So they've got, a mash tun, a kettle. I think they've adapted a liquor tank and maybe 1, maybe 2 fermenters. So they don't get out a lot unless they've upped and improved since that video. So let's have a quick look, actually. South Wales. I mean, South Wales' premier craft brewery. That's a big claim, and I'm not sure about that, but I don't see why not. I'm not against that idea. Yeah, the usual stuff. I'm a bit critical about most breweries because most breweries have the same usual. Our approach to brewing is to create craft beer, taking inspiration from modern and classic styles around the area. Just making good beer, mate. But I quite like it. Studying beer styles originated from America, Germany, Belgium, even Wales, to name a few. So it's not hyper local. It's like taking some other stuff, but we certainly don't shy away from brewing beer that doesn't conform to any style guidelines and create something completely new and unusual. I like that. That's fair play. We only use the freshest ingredients. That's bollocks. They use whatever they're sent from the supplier. Again, hypercritical. I know I shouldn't be, but also tracking down ingredients that we need to use in our beers with a no compromise attitude. Nothing's added just to seem cool. But yeah, they do have a UK-wide web shop. Not their own. I think the guy who owns Dog's Window also owns a bottle shop in a Bridgend. So when you click on that to buy Dog's Window Brewery, it also goes, and this annoys me, it goes to the nearest beer shop, which is great. That's a bottle shop in Bridgend. I think Simon also did a video on that, as well as Hopper did feature that in his video. But it goes straight from Dog's Window to buying everybody else's beer, which is great because there's a lot of good stuff on there. Again, because it's a brewery shop, because it's a shop rather than a brewery shop, it's kind of selling everybody else. There's the Black Forest one. I've been keen to get more into Black Forest stouts recently after that Salopian one I had, and they've simply called it Black Forest. Again, a 6% stout, so I guess it's probably the same as this, but with additions. Where are they? Oh, there are Dog's Window. Good filters on here. And also stock levels, which is quite good. That was one that Hopper was featuring the other day, which I think has been brewed with Simon at Real Ale Craft Beer. It's called Okie Dokie Loki, a fleshy blood orange West Coast IPA. Now, I always say West Coast for me is best when it's done featuring that orange note rather than the pine and the grapefruit. So there's different styles of West Coast. So I probably would try that if I hadn't seen Hopper's video the other day. It didn't really put me off, but it was like, I'm not really sure about it. Also, I've scrolled down to Purple Moose. So yeah, for a small brewery, they've got quite a lot of beers out. I think they must be on fairly heavy rotation. Maybe they've got more than one fermenter to get beers out. Stick collection. That's some quite good beer names, to be fair. Although they don't do. Oh no, they do. They do. This This beer is stacked with a plethora of hops. And from Yakima Valley in America, papaya, pineapple, citrus, and tropical fruits with background resin notes. I like the word plethora, to be honest, one of my favourite words. The Mutt's Nuts. I'd have bought that if only because I once went in a club in Manchester called the Mutt's Nuts. And if you know about it, that's why you know about it. Jack the Kelpie. Kelpie is a type of dog, isn't it? I'm thinking of seaweed. Again, doing much the same as everybody else does. You know, Amarillo, Eldorado, Ukano, Cascade, etc. Not ones that necessarily worry me because of that Ukano and the pine complexity, as they say. But soft creamy mouthfeel. I can't go and buy more beers at the moment. I've got far too many. But yeah, a lot of really good beers there coming out of Dog's Window. Some really good beer names. What was the one I was going to... A Ruffle Shuffle. I assume that to be a stout, and it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, Ruffle Shuffle. I'd be interested in getting that. Again, it's only 5%. Flavours of jammy raspberry, dark chocolate, desiccated coconut. Well, I'll be the judge of that because I never normally get coconut, but I would try that one. A Belgian Golden Ale at 9.4%. SARS and Pearl hops. SARS and Pearl hops and Pilsner malt. There's a pleasing banana note from the yeast. That's a odd mix of things, but I quite like the idea of that. But there you go. That's Dog's Window. Impressive that a small brewery is able to can. I wonder, I haven't seen, did they have anything on there? It's not impossible. I'm pleased they do 440s. Well, you've seen our canning line, it's just a duo filler and a machine, so it's all hand done. So I'm guessing theirs is, unless, because I'm sure they've only got 500 litre fermenters from what I saw. They don't say anything more about it, actually. I should go and find that video. I should have played a bit of that video, maybe. But yeah, I mean, it's a labour of love, canning, unless you send it away to be canned or you get somebody in to do it. A lot of canning places, you want to take 1,000 litre batch, and there's very few that do less than that. So if he's doing it all himself off a duo fill or whatever, then yeah, it's still impressive because it still takes a while. And also maintaining the quality. It's actually easier to maintain that quality, I think, if you do it yourself, rather than sending it away, because you can then control the transfer and know what's going on with the quality of the beer and the transfer and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it is pretty good. The amount of beers he's got out available, it feels like it's on heavy rotation. I can still picture the video. It's literally a garage, you know, literally you could see it in this room with the 4 vessels in there out the back of the guy's house. So unless he's upgraded and moved and improved, I don't know. A little bit of drying kind of note coming in. Not quite coconut, but it's not enough on the hops to be a coconut note on it. But a little bit of drying, a little bit of dry stout note going on. But yeah, a jolly solid stout. It's been a pretty good lineup. I've enjoyed all various components of all of the beers tonight, including the butty back. And especially the butty back in the Welsh rarebit. Got a few slices left to do afterwards. Doesn't go so well with the chocolate, I've got to say. Cheese and chocolates, I think. Yeah, doesn't go so well with the chocolate. Goes better with the middle one, with the Misfit, funny enough. Slice of Welsh rare bit and a beer. I say, I don't always eat on camera, and I don't always drink a beer with food. Beer for me is a situation on its own, apart from occasional snack. This Welsh rarebit has been much more than a snack, to be fair. That thick, cheesy sauce on it, but there you go. Decent lacing on the last, say. Good conditioning on that beer, I would say. Nice thickness to the mouthfeel, but it's becoming a little bit more dry and down the pint. But it's one I can sit back and enjoy. I might finish off that butty back first. But yeah, that's been it, really, for me for a Tuesday tipple. Little look at some fairly rare, maybe less well known Welsh beers. If you've heard of these beers or you'd like to search them out, do let me know in the comments below, especially if you're watching afterwards. But thanks to everybody who's popped in and said hello tonight. I'm going to go and sit back and relax and finish off this stout. Probably nothing tomorrow night. Might try and get one away on Thursday night if I can. I was looking through the stash today, trying to line some cans up. I've got one for Sunday. I've got hopefully something for next week, and I've got one for Thursday if I can get it actually up in between going to work for the next couple of days. Oh, excuse me. A lot of carbonation coming through there. Not necessarily from this. There's good carbonation on that, but yeah. But cheers. Thank you very much indeed. Please comment below, click like and subscribe, etc. if you haven't done already, if you're watching. Cheers, Mr. Wilson. As always, thank you for popping in. Hope you're having a good week, enjoying a bit. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, and how I will not be rushing out for party on Friday. I'll find something else interesting to do. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Has anybody else seen the artwork? And Mr. Wilson, you can confirm this maybe. The artwork for the new putty. Maybe it's just my fragile little mind, but I swear it says pussy. I'll leave you with that thought. Cheers and enjoy the beers. Have a good one. And maybe see you on a Thursday. Bear with me whilst I found the outro. There it is. Get the right outro. Cheers. Have a good one. Enjoy the week.